thing is to ask yourself, what are your goals? Because, you know, more Twitter followers are really not going to solve your company's problems. I love this. If I only had more Twitter followers, like, you know, I could have won this game, but it doesn't really work that way. So you really need to know your objectives. Don't be afraid, experiment, but also really know what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to achieve awareness? Are you trying to drive more traffic to your blog? Are you trying to sell more widgets? You know, what is, and do things on Twitter and kind of see Twitter as the vehicle to help get you there. And so, you know, there's case studies, both good and bad, and we can look at a couple here. Best Buy. Best Buy does a great job on Twitter. They took something that was actually really strong anyways, which was their you know, Best Buy blue shirts. It just empowered it to work online for them as well. So blue shirts are, you know, are their experts, and so their experts you know, now are allowed to go online and answer questions and interact with people that ask questions you know, online to Best Buy. So they took something that was already really strong and working for them really well, the knowledge and collective understanding that they had within the company, and just, you know, empowered it and took it to Twitter. So if you look, the link on their site doesn't go to their website. It goes to a feed, all the questions and answers that are happening on the Twitter account. Because as you know, if you at someone and it's in the beginning of the ad, people that follow you won't see it. So they really want to you know, let people kind of give people an archive of where they can find answers if they think they might have similar questions. Whole Foods. I actually was doing research. I didn't realize there wasn't a Whole Foods here. I thought for sure that there was, but they have over 260 stores. There is? Is it like close or is it out? Oh, okay. Well, Whole Foods is awesome. They do a great job. As you can see, their account here, they have over, you know, they have about 2 million followers. Let's just round it. And they've done a really, and they're a supermarket. I mean, to a certain extent, they're a great supermarket, but nonetheless, they also employ and allow all of their other branches, individual branches, to have their own account. And they really engage with the community on a local level. So they'll hold local events and talk about it and what fresh produce is good at their store today, and answer questions of people that ask them, how are your bananas today? And there's someone there that says, they're great, we just got a shipment in yesterday from wherever. Here you can see that the thing that's really important and it really shows what a great brand that they're doing is that, you know, they're ads. So it's not just them pushing content and saying, like, look at us, check out our new blog post, you know, buy. They're interacting with people. Sorry to hear you feel that way. Did you have an unpleasant experience at, you know, this Whole Foods, which they're linking to another one? They're very transparent, and they really take their community seriously, and they respond to their questions and really interact in a very authentic way. And which is really hard, because one of the biggest challenges is, do you trust all of your employees across every Whole Foods to interact on behalf of your company? And as a corporate person, you say, no, no, I don't. I mean, we hire them because they're great people in person and all of that. I don't know how they're going to act online in 140 characters. But you really have to just kind of take that leap and know that there are going to be mistakes, and some people are going to respond in a way that you didn't like. But at the end of the day, you know, the collective, the power of all of your employees, you can't match it by trying to do it from the corporate office. Frank Ellison, so Comcast Cares. I mean, he was really revolutionary in that, you know, he was at Comcast and saw all of these people tweeting, you know, and complaining about Comcast, and he just jumped on and started answering people's questions. He didn't ask Comcast if it was okay if he could do that. He didn't create a social media department and do all this preparation up until they finally launched a Twitter account. He just did it on his own. He's since moved on, but he really did establish the core of what Comcast is, you know, and quite frankly, I think Comcast, you know, their service still sucks, and to a certain extent, it really hasn't changed their business. But they've gotten a ton of, you know, props and press and media just by doing something like this. You know, and they have all of their, you know, members of Twitter, and each different department can answer different questions. And, you know, I would recommend, if you have Comcast and you have a problem, at them on Twitter and do not call, because you will get better customer service this way. Koji is a food truck in LA. They were one of the first people to do like the tweeting that you hear. and have people come in New York, they have a lot of ones like this too. There's the cupcake truck, and there's a couple of Mexican food ones, and they'll tweet where they are, and people will come and all of that, and people follow them, and when they're close to their work, they'll say, oh cool, the Koji truck's here, we'll go. But they were the first to really employ that. And from a business model perspective, they're a truck that travels around, so Twitter is great for them, or Foursquare, or whatever kind of location-based thing. And by the time they get to the spot that they said they were going to be at, there's a whole line of people waiting for them and waiting to eat their delicious food. And so there's really no right way to use Twitter for business. There's a couple, obviously there's best practices and case studies that you can look at. I think that, being authentic and being real and all of that is kind of obvious, and listen and all of that. But there are, there are some ways that you should not do Twitter. And we've talked about a couple of these already, but we can kind of go over them again. This really bothered me, and everyone says that, oh, it's not going to affect their business, or, Kenneth Cole is still going to, sell a ton of stuff and whatever. I will never buy Kenneth Cole ever again. And I think that some people feel that way about it. But, from this is, just pure, stupidity. But it really does show, and all of the response that he got, and then when you see his response on Facebook and all of that, and it really was a disaster. And I tweeted that I really couldn't imagine being their PR agency at that moment. It must have been quite hellish. But this really does affect your brand. And he did go back and say that he was sorry and he didn't mean to make light of the situation and all of that. But he really did, and he did it publicly, and it really did hurt him, at least for those few days. This I always love, the Kenneth Cole PR, which was similar to the BP PR, where they go and just make fun of Kenneth Cole in all the ways that they possibly can. Nir Rosen, I don't know if you guys are familiar. He just stepped down from NYU as faculty, as a fellow, right? So he was making really inappropriate remarks about Laura Logan and her situation in Cairo, and he said things like, if Anderson Cooper would have been molested, then he would have gotten more press, and he just kind of went on this rant, and it was really inappropriate, and has since apologized and got a ton of press. And so taking not even a brand, but our personal kind of brand, stepping back a little, and even as someone that's just being completely inconsiderate and just tweeting whatever you feel, not thinking about what the consequences might be, that's something that you always have to keep in mind, especially when you have one person running your Twitter presence. Altec hired this guy who was running the Twitter account, and budgets were cut, and they had to let him go. And he changed all the passwords to the Twitter accounts and changed it to his name, and now Altec has to start all over again. So Altec now is not on the screen, but has like 2,000 followers, when it had built up much more than that. And now they have to, kind of start from scratch. So it's something to really keep in mind. You always want to hire an intern to do social media. Oh, we're hiring an intern, and they'll, like tweet for us and blah blah blah. It's, you have to really think about the ramifications of, if you are successful and do invest a lot of time and money and effort into it, that person really holds the keys. And so if you are going to fire someone, I would change the Twitter account password before you do. So how do you handle the challenges? This is a great example, and I guess we talked about this again. This I just love this, because this happens, and it's so close to my heart. I've done it on behalf of Coach on accident. I've done tweet it, delete it really fast and just wait for people to start responding because you accidentally posted on a different account than you were meant to. So this girl was on Hootsuite, and there's like a couple, it's like you have pictures. So it's like my picture profile, the Red Cross profile, and whatever other profiles you're managing. And if you happen to click one instead of the other, it gets posted to the wrong account. And this is what happened. Getting slizzard. Love it. Like, it's just so good. Like, you can't get any better than this. But they did a really, really great job. We've deleted the road tweet, but the rest is sure. The Red Cross is sober. We're compensated as keys. There's so many ways they could have handled that. And they could have fired her and made this thing that put out this big press release that they don't drink in the office and da da da. But at the end of the day, you know, they responded really quickly, which it's actually interesting. You notice that this was posted by Hootsuite, and then someone, probably like the head or marketing person, posted it via Uber Twitter, which is a mobile device. So they acted really fast. They didn't go and like have this, you know, big meeting and talk about what they were going to do, how they were going to handle it. You know, they're going to put that they fired her and that they don't drink at work, whatever. But they really handled it properly because, I mean, at the end of the day, it got really great press. So Dogfish Beer responded and was, you know, was promoting that, you know, hey followers, you know, really, you know, get into the Getting Social story because, you know, and donate more blood and make it into a positive PR thing. And then there are, you know, there was Flying Saucer Austin, who again, just like a local place, you know, if you donate a pint of blood, we'll give you a Dogfish head.